Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy, Yah's Chosen One, man. And so are you because you are into the Word. We in chapter 22 in the book of Genesis, man. Hope you guys have been following the Bible really good. Should be in the Word every day. It's kind of late, but I haven't had time to get into it today. But you know what? I'm always going to try my best to get into it every day. That's a promise. That's a promise. All right. Genesis chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thy only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee in the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. Heck of a challenge, but as you saw in Jasher, you see why the Most High did this. Because remember, Isaac and Ishmael had a quarrel, and Ishmael was, he was bragging about, I'll do this for the Most High. I got my foreskin cut off, I circumcised myself for the Most High. And Isaac was like, man, that ain't nothing. I'll give my life up for the Most High. And the Most High overheard it. And so that's how this came about. All right. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took two of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went into the place of which the Most High had told him. Then on the third day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. And when you read this, you're going to see that the two lads was Eleazar and Ishmael. When you read in Jasher, in Jasher chapter 23, you'll see that. Okay. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and wood, but where is the lamb for burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, the Most High will provide himself a lamb for burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which the Most High had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. So Abraham was going to do this. That's how obedient Abraham was to the Most High. And the Malach of Yah called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest the Most High, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. Now that's important. See, the Most High figures, like I said, all his seed will be blessed, but there's only one people that have the covenant, and that's the people through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And see, Ishmael is his son, but he's not the chosen son. You see what the Malach said? He said, It's your only son. So that's what he's claiming. Isaac is his only son. That's the one that the Most High reveres or honors. Okay? All right. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Yahweh Yireh, as it is said to this day, In the mount of Yah it shall be seen. And the Malach of Yah called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, saith Yah, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor. Buz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, Pildash, Idlap, Bethuel, and Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and we know who Rebekah is going to be. And his concubine, whose name was Rumah, she bare also Teba, Gaham, Thahash, and Makkah. Okay? Alright, so there you have it. Genesis chapter 22. We see the story of Abraham and Isaac, and the sacrifice of Abraham and Isaac. We see that story right there. And it's a good story. Now, when we read in this book gives plenty more details, okay? This book falling apart, but I haven't read this book to death. But this book is going to give it a whole lot more details, okay? And I might just do it all in one. I might just do this all in one chapter, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Alright, I think I will. So this is chapter 23. Actually, that's pretty long. Yeah, that's pretty long. Goodness, that's long. Yeah, that is pretty long. I got about 85 verses to read. So, yeah, we're just going to make it another video. You know what? Let's just make this a really long video. Okay? Yeah, let's just do that. Alright, chapter 23 in the great book of Jasher, paralleling with Genesis chapter 22, okay? At that time the word of Yah came to Abraham, and he said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Here am I. That's Genesis 22, verse 1. And he said to him, Take now thy son, thy only son, whom thou lovest, even Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which shall be shown to thee, for there wilt thou see a cloud and the glory of Yah. Genesis 22, verse 2. So, you're going to see a cloud. That's how the Most High moves, man. He moves by those. Independence Day got it right. He moves by those IFOs, those clouds, those burning chariots. That's how he moves. And Abraham said within himself, How shall I separate my son Isaac from Sarah his mother, in order to bring him up for a burnt offering before Yah? See, it wasn't that Isaac wasn't thinking about his thing was like, man, Sarah, man. Because him and Isaac and Sarah, as we're going to read, man, they were like this. And that was going to be difficult. And Abraham came into the tent, and he sat before Sarah his wife, and he spoke these words to her. My son Isaac is grown up, and he has not for some time studied the service of the Almighty. Now tomorrow I will go and bring him to Shem and Eber his son, and there he will learn the ways of Yah. For they will teach him to know Yah, as well as to know that when he prayeth continually before Yah, he will answer him. Therefore there he will know the way of serving Yah, his power. And Sarah said, Thou hast spoken well. Go, my Lord, and do unto him as thou hast said, but remove him not at a great distance from me, neither let him remain there too long, for my soul is bound within his soul. You see that? They were like that. And Abraham said unto Sarah, My daughter, let us pray to Yah, our power, that he may do good with us. And Sarah took her son Isaac, and he abode all that night with her, and she kissed and embraced him and gave him instructions till morning. They were that tight, man. They were that tight. Sarah and Isaac were tight, man. And she said to him, "O my son, how can my soul separate itself from thee?" And she still kissed him and embraced him, and she gave Abraham instructions concerning him. So she was going to Abraham, was like, "Look, man, you my husband. This is our son. You better make damn sure that you bring our son back in one piece. Because I love this boy. This is my only child. I weaned this boy, took care of this boy growing up. You better make sure, Abraham, that you bring my son back." And Sarah said to Abraham, "O my Lord, I pray thee, take heed of thy son, and place thine eyes over him, for I have no other son nor daughter but him. O forsake him not. If he be hungry, give him bread. And if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. Do not let him go on foot, neither let him sit in the sun." So Sarah's like, man, Isaac is spoiled, man. She had Sarah, man. Sarah's like, man, this boy better come back in one piece. "Neither let him go by himself in the road, neither force him from whatever he may desire, but do unto him as he may say to thee." And Sarah wept bitterly the whole night on account of Isaac, and she gave him instructions till morning. So this is just a mother, with her son, her only son, and she's proud of her son, and she loves her son to death, and it's probably his first time away from her, and she's like, just take care of my son. In the morning, Sarah selected a very fine and beautiful garment from those garments which she had in the house that Abimelech had given to her. And she dressed Isaac her son therewith, and she put a turban upon his head. Who else wears turbans? We wear turbans. And put a turban upon his head, and she enclosed a precious stone in the top of the turban. I mean, how many times have you seen that? And she gave them provision for the road, and they went forth. And Isaac went with his father Abraham, and some of their servants accompanied them to see them off the road. And Sarah went out with them, and she accompanied them upon the road to see them off. And they said to her, "Return to the tent." And it was like, "Hey, Sarah, okay, we got this. Go back to your tent. We're going to be all right. We got this, And when Sarah heard the words of her son Isaac, she wept bitterly, and Abraham, her husband, wept with her. It's like, okay, let's do this little group hug thing. Let's cry. Let's get this all out, man. But we got to do what we got to do. And their son wept with them a great weeping. All those who went with them wept greatly. So everybody was crying. And Sarah caught hold of her son Isaac, and she held him in her arms, and she embraced him and continued to weep with him. And Sarah said, "Who knoweth if after this day I shall ever see thee again?" And, and Abraham knew what he was going to have to do, and so Sarah, she just loved her. She just loved her son. She loved him. They probably never been separated for a long time, so she's doing what her mother would do. And they still wept together, Abraham, Sarah, and Isaac, and all those that accompanied them on the road wept with them. And Sarah afterward turned away from her son, weeping bitterly, and all her men servants and maid servants returned with her to the tent. And Abraham went with Isaac his son to bring him up as an offering before Yah, as he commanded them. That's in Genesis 22 verse 3. And Abraham took 2 of his young men with him, Ishmael the son of Hagar, and Eleazar the servant, and they went together with them. And whilst they were walking the road, the young men spoke these words to themselves. Now look at this conversation. So here we are. They're going to go do this thing, and these two are having this conversation. And Ishmael said to Eleazar, "Now my father Abraham is going with Isaac to bring him up for a burnt offering to Yah, as he commanded him." And see, the reason why Ishmael knew this is because remember Isaac and Ishmael had their quarrel? That's what this was all about. They knew what time it was. Ishmael already knew what was about to happen. Now when he returneth, he will give unto me all that he possesses to inherit after him, for I am his firstborn. Now see, so Ishmael, man, so he's talking about inheritance. He ain't even worried about Isaac. He's just worried about what he's going to get out of this whole deal. You know what I'm saying? And Eleazar, Abraham's right hand man, is his servant, answered Ishmael and said, surely Abraham did cast thee away with thy mother. He's like, man, don't you know your daddy cast you out with Hagar, and swear that thou should not inherit anything of all he possesses? And to whom will he give all that he has, with all his treasures, but unto me his servant, who has been faithful in his house, who has served him night and day, and has done all that he desired me? To me will he bequeath at his death all that he possesses. So these dudes, they knowing that, Isaac's going to go get sacrificed or whatever, and they arguing about who's going to inherit the riches that Abraham has. That's the only thing in their brain right now. And whilst Abraham was proceeding with his son Isaac along the road, Satan came and appeared to Abraham in the figure of a very aged man, humble and contrite spirit. And he approached Abraham and said to him, art thou silly or brutish, that thou goest to do this thing this day to thy only son? And you see, Satan can come in any form that he wants to, man. For the Most High gave thee a son in thy later days, in thy old age. And wilt thou go and slaughter him this day, because he committed no violence? And wilt thou cause the soul of thy only son to perish from the earth? So here comes Satan, being a deceiver that he is, just like he did Eve. He's telling Abraham, man, it's your only son. And you had him in your old age, man. And now you going to go kill him? Dost thou not know and understand that this thing cannot be from Yah? For Yah cannot do unto man such evil upon earth to say to him, go slaughter thy child. See, Satan, you got to understand, the Most High is a dictator, man. He can do what he wants. He's the creator of this universe. If the Most High says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Who are you to give a audible on this, Satan? Who are you to give an audible? And Abraham heard this and knew that it was the word of Satan. There you go, Abraham. Who endeavored to draw him aside from the way of Yah. But Abraham would not hearken to the voice of Satan, and Abraham rebuked him so that he went away. See, you as a human, you have that power, but you gotta be strong in it. You have to rebuke him. And Satan returned and came to Isaac, and he appeared unto Isaac in the figure of a young man, calmly and well favored. Okay, so now he's going to the weaker guy, Isaac, his son, and he's coming to Isaac in the form of a young man now. And he approached Isaac and said unto him, dost thou not know and understand that thy old silly father bringeth thee to the slaughter this day for naught? Now therefore, my son, do not listen nor attend to him, for he is a silly old man, and let not thy precious soul and beautiful figure be lost from the earth. And see, and Isaac heard this, and said unto Abraham, hast thou heard that my father, that which this man has spoken? Even thus has he spoken. And Abraham answered his son Isaac, said to him, take heed of him, and do not listen to his words, nor attend to him, for he is Satan, endeavoring to draw us aside this day from the commands of the Almighty. And Abraham still rebuked Satan, and Satan went from him, and seeing he could not prevail over them, he hid himself from them, and he went and passed before them in the road. And he transformed himself to a large brook of water in the road. And Abraham and Isaac and his two young men reached that place, and they saw a brook large and powerful as the mighty waters. So this dude, Satan, can transform himself to humans. He can transform to land, earth. This guy can do a lot of things, man. Very wily. And they entered the brook and passed through it, and the waters at first reached their legs. So here's Satan in the form of this body of water, this brook with rushing waters, so it's not at their legs. And they went deeper in the brook, and the waters reached up to their necks. So now it's at their necks. And they were all terrified on account of the water. And whilst they were going over the brook, Abraham recognized that place, and he knew that there was no water there before. Abraham's like, man, wait a minute. Man, this place ain't got no doggone water. And Abraham said to his son Isaac, I know this place in which there was no brook nor water. Now therefore, it is this Satan who does all this to us, to draw us aside this day for the commands of Yah. Of the Almighty. And Abraham rebuked him and said unto them, Yah rebuke thee, O Satan, be gone from us, for we go by the commands of the Almighty. And Satan was terrified. That's the word they use, terrified, at the voice of Abraham, and he went away from them, and the place again became dry land as it was at first. You see that? Satan was terrified. And Abraham went with Isaac toward the place that the Almighty had told him. And on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place at a distance which the Almighty had told him of. Genesis 22, verse 4. And a pillar of fire appeared to him that reached from the earth to the heaven. That's probably that IFO. And a cloud of glory upon the mountain, the glory of Yah was seen in the cloud. It's one of those IFOs. And Abraham said to Isaac, my son, dost thou see in that mountain which we perceive at a distance that which I see upon it? And Isaac answered and said unto his father, I see, and lo, a pillar of fire, this IFO, and a cloud is covered in the cloud, and the glory of Yah is seen upon the cloud. And Abraham said unto Eleazar and unto Ishmael his son, do you also see that which we see upon the mountain which is at a distance? And they answered and said, we see nothing more than like the other mountains of the earth. And Abraham knew that they were not accepted before Yah to go with them. And Abraham said to them, abide ye here with the ass, whilst I and Isaac my son will go to yonder mount and worship there before Yah, and then return to you. And Eleazar and Ishmael remained in that place as Abraham had commanded. And Abraham took wood for a burnt offering and placed it upon his son Isaac. He took the fire and the knife, and they both went to that place. And when they were going along, Isaac said to his father, behold, I see here the fire and wood, and where then is the lamb that is to be burnt offering before Yah? So that's in Genesis 22, verse 5 through 7, with all I just read. Now let's continue. And Abraham answered his son Isaac, saying that Yah has made choice of thee, my son, to be a perfect burnt offering instead of the lamb. So there we go. So now he's actually going to tell him. So that's verse 7, Genesis 22, 5, verse 7. So now he's actually going to tell him. And Isaac said to his father, I will do all that Yah spoke to thee with joy and cheerfulness at heart. So, and maybe it came to realization that Isaac realized, when he had quarreled with Ishmael, what he had said, and Yah took him upon that challenge, All right. And Abraham again said to Isaac his son, is there in thy heart any thought or counsel concerning this which is not proper? Tell me, my son, I pray thee, O my son, conceal it not from me. So Abraham was like, man, you see anything wrong with this, man? Is there anything in your heart you want to tell me, son? And Isaac said to his father, I will do all Yah. And Isaac answered his father Abraham and said unto him, O my father, as Yah liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is nothing in my heart to cause me to deviate, either to the right or to the left, from the word that he has spoken to thee. Neither limb nor muscle has moved or stirred at this, nor is there in my heart any thought or evil counsel concerning this. But I am of joyful and cheerful heart in this matter, and I say, blessed is Yah, who has this day chosen me to be a burnt offering before him. So little Isaac was like, man, this is a blessing. Yah chose me to be a burnt offering unto him. This is a heck of a day for me. And Abraham greatly rejoiced at the words of Isaac, and they went on and came together to the place that Yah had spoken of. And Abraham approached to build the altar in that place, and Abraham was weeping. And Isaac took stones and mortar until they had finished building the altar. Abraham was crying. I mean, what the hell would you do if your son was in this situation? I gotta hurry up here, man. I got a 14%. But you do the same thing in the situation, man. He's very obedient to the Most High, but at the same time, this is his son. He's got to kill his own son. Of course, he's going to be crying. And Abraham took the wood and placed it in order upon the altar which he had built. And he took his son Isaac and bound him in order to place him upon the wood which was upon the altar, to slay him for a burnt offering before Yah. And Isaac said to his father, bind me securely, and then place me upon the altar, lest I should turn and move, and break loose from the force of the knife upon my flesh, and therefore profane the burnt offering. And Abraham did so. So not only did he want to be sacrificed, but he wanted it done right. He didn't want to profane the offering. Man, this kid, man. And Isaac still said to his father, O my father, when thou shalt have slain me and burnt me for an offering, take with thee that which shall remain of my ashes to bring to Sarah my mother, and say to her, this is the sweet smelling savor of Isaac, but do not tell her this if she should sit near a well or upon any high place, lest she should cast her soul after me and die. It's like her mother would commit suicide. They were so doggone close. So Isaac was like, man, tell her this is, it's an urn. This is my ash. This is my urn. This is the urn. But don't tell this to her beside a well or someplace, or she would throw herself off and she would die. And Abraham heard the words of Isaac, and he lifted up his voice and wept when Isaac spake these words. And Abraham's tears gushed down upon Isaac his son, and Isaac wept bitterly. And he said to his father, hasten thou, O my father, and do with me the will of Yah, our power, as he commanded thee. So Isaac was like, yo, this is it. No time for weeping, Dad. Let's get this over with. It's time to get it on. And the hearts of Abraham and Isaac rejoiced at this thing which Yah had commanded them, but the eye wept bitterly, whilst the heart rejoiced. And Abraham bound his son Isaac and placed him on the altar upon the wood, and Isaac stretched forth his neck upon the altar before his father. And Abraham stretched forth his hand to take the knife to slay his son as a burnt offering before Yah. At that time the Malachim of mercy came before Yah, and spake to him concerning Isaac, saying, O Yah, thou art a merciful and a compassionate king over all that thou hast created in heaven and in earth, and thou supportest them all. By the way, the last two verses was Genesis 22:10 and Genesis 22:11. And thou supportest them all. Give therefore ransom and redemption instead of thy servant Isaac, and pity and have compassion upon Abraham and Isaac his son, who are this day performing thy commands. Hast thou seen, Yah, how Isaac the son of Abraham thy servant is bound down to slaughter like an animal? Now therefore let thy pity be roused for them, O Yah. At that time Yah appeared unto Abraham and called to him from heaven, and said to him, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him, for now I know that thou fearest the Most High in performing this act, and in notwithstanding thy son, thy only son, from me. And Abraham looked up his eyes and saw, and behold, a ram was caught in the thicket by his horns. That was the ram which Yah the Almighty had created in the earth in the day that he made earth and heaven. Genesis 22 verse 3. That was the ram which Yah the Almighty had created in the earth in the day that he made earth and heaven. So this ram already had his purpose. For Yah had prepared this ram from that day to be a burnt offering instead of Isaac. Look at that. And this ram was advancing to Abraham when Satan caught hold of him and entangled his horns in the thicket. Look at this. Satan caught hold of him and entangled his horns in the thicket. that he might not advance to Abraham, in order that Abraham might slay his son. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? See how Satan tries to, just like with Yehoshua, man. He tried to twist Yehoshua from doing what he had done. It's the same thing. It's a sacrifice. Yehoshua could have been like, yeah, man, forget this. I'm not a sacrifice for this world. Forget this world. But he did it anyway. Satan tried many times to have Yehoshua do it, and this is the same situation right here. And Abraham, seeing the ram advancing to him, and Satan withholding him, fetched him and brought him before the altar. And he loosened his son Isaac from his binding, and he put the ram in his stead. And Abraham killed the ram upon the altar, and brought it up as an offering in the place of his son Isaac. And Abraham sprinkled some of the blood of the ram upon the altar, and he exclaimed and said, This is in the place of my son, and may this be considered this day as the blood of my son before Yah. And all that Abraham did on this occasion by the altar, he would exclaim and say, This is in the room of my son, and may it this day be considered before Yah in the place of my son. And Abraham finished the whole of the service by the altar, and the service was accepted before Yah, and was accounted as if it had been Isaac. And Yah blessed Abraham and his seed on that day. That day, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, that day, they were blessed. And Satan went to Sarah, and he appeared to her in the figure of an old man, very humble and meek. And Abraham was yet engaged in a burnt offering before Yah. And he said unto her, Dost thou not know all the work that Abraham has made with thy only son this day? For he took Isaac and built an altar, and killed him, and brought him up as a sacrifice upon the altar. And Isaac cried and wept before his father, but he looked not at him, neither did he have compassion over him. And Satan repeated these words, and he went away from her. And Sarah heard all the words of Satan, and she imagined him to be an old man from amongst the sons of men who had been with her son, and had come and told her these things. And Sarah lifted up her voice and wept and cried out bitterly on account of her son. And she threw herself upon the ground, and she cast dust upon her head. And she said, O my son Isaac, my son, oh that I have this day died instead of thee. And she continued to weep, and said, It grieves me for thee, O my son Isaac, oh that I had died this day in thy stead. And she still continued to weep, and said, It grieves me for thee, that after that I have reared thee, and have brought thee up, now my joy is turned into mourning over thee. I that had a longing for thee, and cried and prayed to the Almighty, till I bare thee at 90 years old, and now hast thou served this day for the knife and the fire to be made an offering? But I console myself with thee, my son, in it being the word of Yah, for thou didst perform the command of thy other power. For who can transgress the word of our power, in whose hands is the soul of every living creature? Who can say that the Most High is wrong? Who can go against him? Thou art just, Yah, our power, for all thy works are good and righteous. For I also am rejoiced with thy word which thou didst command, and whilst my eye weepeth bitterly, my heart rejoiceth. And Sarah laid her head upon the bosom of one of her handmaids, and she became as still as a stone. She was just limp, man, just gone, man. She just can't believe that her son is dead. She afterward rose up and went about making inquiries till she came to Hebron. And she inquired of all those whom she met walking in the road, and no one could tell her what had happened to her son. And she came with her maidservants and men servants to Kiriath Arba, which is Hebron, and she asked concerning her son. And she remained there while she sent some of her servants to seek where Abraham had gone with Isaac. They went to seek him in the house of Shem and Eber, and they could not find him. And they sought throughout the land, and he was not there. Because remember, uh, Abraham had told her that he was taking Isaac to Shem and Eber to learn the ways of Yah. So that's where she went, man, to Shem and Eber to see if they can find him. And obviously, she didn't find him. And we're gonna stop right there because it's a pretty sad ending to this. We're gonna stop right there with it. But as you can see, man, Satan has all kinds of ways of deterring you from following the ways of Yah and doing what Yah wants you to do, man. He has all kinds of tricks up his sleeve, man. But Abraham wasn't having it. Abraham overcame. Yehoshua overcame. And he can't be defeated. Satan can't be defeated, man. It said Satan was terrified of Abraham, man. He was terrified of Abraham. So, praise be, man. Praise be to Yah. Praise be to Yah and his prophets, for getting the job done and putting their lives on the line to, just follow the word. You know what I'm saying? And praise be to you, man, for watching the video and just trying to get the word each and every day. That's all I'm trying to do, man, in life. Just trying to get the word, live my life. Yah has given me what I needed, man. He's giving me what I need. He's giving me, a nice place to stay. He's giving me food on the table every day. He's giving me work. He's giving me an understanding to know the word and to get closer to him. And he's made my life a whole lot better, man. Used to be that sports was my life and women all the time, and now the word has just made me a better person, man. Just a well-rounded person. I feel powerful. I feel strong each and every day, and I hope you guys do too, man. Because there's more than life. There's more to this world than just the Most High told you to be a set apart people. Don't be earthly. Don't be worldly, man. Because what He has planned for you, man, after all is said and done, man, is going to be far more than what what we witness here on earth. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have so much ready, and I can't wait, man. I'm just trying to live right because I want to make it in that kingdom. I want to be somebody in that kingdom, and it's going to be great. You know what I'm saying? All right, man. I love you guys. I love you for following the word, and so does Yah. And he looks at you, man. Remember Ephesians 6 verse 12, man. We don't fight, man. We don't fight against flesh, man. We fight against principalities, spirits, all that stuff, man. Each and every day, just like Satan tried to get at Abraham and Isaac, man. It's the same thing. That's the kind of stuff we fight against every day. All right, shalom.